I'm back on another little mini break here. I am over on the dividing polynomials and inverse review worksheet. At this point, you should have gone through the dividing polynomials lesson. You should have been practicing already with both long and synthetic division, even though we know which one's better, synthetic, and starting to look through some of these things. Now, I'll say what I've mentioned before on some assignments. If you're becoming into expert mode at just finding an inverse or the factoring or things like that, you can skip around a little bit on this. I'm going to get to see what you know when we do the quiz. So as you're kind of looking through this worksheet, my main focus is going to be on this first page because we did inverse stuff in the last video. I'm going to say again, let me come over here so we can make sure we're on the same page here. When you get to these, I'm not worried about this right now. Okay, no worries. But I would do the inverses up above, 7 through 9. I would do my graphing. Remember the trick. You can use the calculator. You can graph one and then just switch the values. Okay? Again, go back to that last video I did if you're looking for some of that, because I'm going to be seeing this all again on the quiz preview. So we want to make sure that we're using our time and our resources wisely, because like I said, also when I post it on Classroom, we will be doing the note cards again, so I am going to be giving you that information once we get back together. But for now, we are going to stick strictly with some division here. So I'm going to do a couple of these. I'm looking to see where I am going to be of most use. I think what we'll do is we're going to do number 1 and 5. 1 and 5, yes. And what I'm going to do also, on 1, we're going to do synthetic division, okay? On 5, I'm going to do long division, just again so you can see it. Maybe I explain it in a little different way this time that makes a little more sense to you, just to get you a little more practice with it. So when we're doing synthetic division, well, any division, let's be honest, always first want to, we need to watch for gaps or holes. Now remember what that means. That just means whatever exponent, whatever degree we start with, it should go down by 1 each time until we get to a constant, until we get to a number. So like here, 3, 2, 1, constant. That's normal. Okay, that's the way it should work. You're like, well, what do you mean then? What I mean then is, like, let's say on number 4 you're looking. 3, 2, constant. You need to fill in that gap with a 0m, or a 0m to the first, so we go 3, 2, 1, 0, okay? So whenever there's a gap, before you start doing anything with these, always walk through it and make sure, is there a gap anywhere? And if there is, make a little note like this so you don't forget, because if you forget it, everything's going to get messed up. Okay, so number 1, we had no gaps. Good. When we go to do division, okay, if we're going to do synthetic, you switch the sign of what's in the parentheses. So if that would have been x minus 8, I'd have put a positive 8 here, and vice versa. And as long as there's no gaps, we're just going to write the coefficients for every one of those terms. And so once we've done that, okay, no variables written anywhere. That's not till the very end when we're doing synthetic. Drop that first value. Multiply by what's in the box. So 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. That goes in the next empty slot. We add down. 11 minus 8, or 11 plus negative 8, is positive 3. And we do the process again. 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. Add down. Positive 6. Multiply by what's in the box. 6 times negative 8 is negative 48. Add down. Okay? Once we get all the way to the end, we're going to plug variables back in. Reminder here, we always start 1, degree less. So my problem here started as a degree 3. My biggest exponent was 3, which means here I start at 2, 1, 0. And if there's still a value left at the end, that is my remainder, but I have to put my divisor underneath it. Okay? So just kind of give that a moment. Switch the sign, write all my coefficients, and it's always after the first one gets dropped, multiply to go in the next blank, add down. Multiply, add down, multiply, add down. And then we just plug our x values in, and if there's any remainder at the end. If this would have been 0, then we just wouldn't worry about that, okay? I mean, you could put 0 over x plus 8. It wouldn't make any difference. And you can see how that works, okay? Now, if we're asked to do long division, okay, unless I specifically ask you to do long division on a problem at some point, I would always do synthetic, okay? It's going to be a lot faster, a lot easier. But we still need to have some feelings, especially if you're going to keep going into upper level math on how to do long division. So I'm going to do long division on number 5, just to kind of let you get one more peek here at it. Now again, this one I got to be careful on my gaps. That's why I chose to do this one. You're like, what? 3, 2, 1. That goes down in order. Is there a constant term? Is there just a number at the end, though? Well, no. Then in this case, we just got to put the plus 0 in at the end. Okay. And also when we do long division, again, you have a choice on this sheet. This is just giving me an extra opportunity to show you how this works. Okay, we write everything out when we're doing the long division. Okay, we get ourselves our little side work column going here because we're going to need it. And so if you're doing long division, you take your first term underneath your division sign and you divide it by the first term on the outside. It's always first one under, first one outside. We subtract our exponents. Okay, we get m squared. We put that answer up here. And then we take that answer and we multiply it by what's called our divisor. Add exponents, multiply coefficients, and whatever you get here, okay, the actual way of doing it is you would normally subtract this, but I've had students who always have issues remembering how the subtraction is going to work. So the way I've taught it has been, whatever you get here, you're going to switch the signs on both of these. So we have negative m to the third, positive 3m squared. And this is going to be a little wacky, so stick with me. Normally you add down and you hope the first terms cancel, and they do. This time we get an added bonus. I guess we'll call it a bonus. Negative 3 and positive 3 cancel. And so all I'm left with is the two terms at the end, the m and the plus 0. So I'm going to do my process one more time. First term divided by first term. You're like, well, those just cancel out, which would be m to the 0, or just 1. Everything's not gone. There's still a 1 there when things cancel out. And distributing a 1 is pretty easy. Except I forgot to change my signs, didn't I? And if you get to the end and now there's just a number, I can't divide a number by m. You're like, well, what do I do with that? You just put your 3 for m minus 3. But just for fun, if I can find myself a piece of paper that works for this, that will work. What if I would have done this using synthetic? Okay, let's check it out. I'd change the sign on there, just so you can see these are kind of interchangeable. I would start copying my coefficients. If I don't see one, it's a 1. Let's try this process one more time and see if I get the same answer. First term comes down, multiply by what's in the box, positive 3, add down, multiply by what's in the box, add down, multiply by what's in the box. I'm just looking at something for a minute. I'm just sitting here going, I haven't done anything boneheaded yet, so I want to make sure we continue on that track. Okay, so far so good. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay. So we started with a degree 3 polynomial. So my first variable term here is going to be its squared, m, my constant. And there is my remainder. Do we have the same thing? M squared, I don't need 0m, plus 1 plus over m minus 3. Same thing. Okay? This is why we like synthetic. It's a whole lot easier to work with. And as I said, everything else that's in here, you have had videos and lessons up from me at least twice, if not 3 times. So if you're getting stuck in those areas, I would suggest going back and watching some of those videos again, or using your notes if you actually took down the notes when you watched them, and try some of them out, check your answers. If you try something out and the answer is just not working, you know I'm known. Occasionally I'm going to screw up. It happens to everybody. Shoot me an email, okay, on something like that. Because again, our game plan next week is going to be, I'm going to come back Monday. We're going to try and clean up some loose ends. We're going to go back over the quiz preview, which I'm hoping to get a video about later today if I get a chance. It might be late night. Otherwise, it may be tomorrow that I get that out. But we'll have you up and ready to go here by the end of the week, heading into next week, getting ready for a quiz. So if you run into any questions or concerns, as always, please let me know. Otherwise, give this a go, and we'll see you the next time.